こんにちは、皆さん。今日、私たちは日本語を勉強しています。質問があれば、私に聞いてください。Greetings, everyone. Today we are studying Japanese. If you have any questions, then feel free to stop and ask me at any time. I'm going to be continuing with Immersion via Card Captor Sakura. Hi. Wow, that's fast subtitle. Let's go back. Hi, Kino. In other words, she's saying yes, and then she was trying to say her name. And uh, notice she's she's saying her family name, because in Japanese, you tend to first introduce yourself with your family name and not your actual name. Though it could also, I kind of wonder about this. When you answer the phone in Japan and it's like a house phone, do you always use the family name regardless, I wonder? So I'm curious on that. When answering a house phone in Japan, do you use family name or personal name? So you generally use family name. This convention applies to both personal and business contexts, as Japanese culture prioritizes family name first and views the individual as a representative of the household or group. What about when answering a personal cell phone? When answering a personal cell phone in Japan, you should typically use your family name followed by predicate desu. Business versus personal. While business calls strictly require the full name of the company, personal calls follow the same convention of prioritizing the family name. Okay, so in business calls, you introduce the business you're calling. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so she was trying to say uh Kinomoto, but she got cut off by the other person talking. And then Sakura-san. So the person on the line, you can hear it's her father, just addressing directly as her since he heard him. But he heard her.
さくらさん。お父さん。食卓の上に青い封筒がないか見てくれないかな。
It's something. Hmm. Something's above. Okay, what is that?
さくらさん。お父さん。
Oto-san, father.
食卓の上に青い封筒がないか見てくれないかな。
Let's see what that is.
食卓の上に青い。
shokutaku, dining table. Okay, this is translated wrong. This should be ue. This should not be joni, I think. Let's listen what he says.
さくらさん。お父さん。食卓の上に青い封筒がないか。お父さん。食卓の上に青い封。
Yeah, he says ue ni. Yeah, that's what I figured. So, shokutaku no ue ni. Aoi futo envelope. Okay, this kanji is made from steel closing and pipe tube, gun barrel cylinder. I have a suspicion that the reason they use the kanji for cylinder in the word for envelope is because just like books used to be cylindrical objects back in the day, aka when there were scrolls, I assume an envelope would be more like some sort of official scroll, and so hence why it uses the kanji for cylindrical object. So a seal plus seal on a cylinder scroll would be an envelope, essentially, I guess. Futo. Oe futo ga. Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah. So shokutaku, dining table. Kanji from taberu, to eat, and table desk. Okay. So eating table, essentially. Shokutaku no ue ni oi futo ga nai. Ga nai ka. Mite, mite kurenai kana. Okay, so you're noticing this how he's using nai. So he's basically saying, at of the location of on top of the dining room table, does a blue envelope not exist? And that's because in Japanese, you often ask questions in the negative instead of in the positive like you do in the English. English uses asking questions in the positive, and negative, but Japanese uses in the negative a lot more than English does. So he's first saying, is it basically saying is there an envelope on top of the dining room table? And then mite kurenai kana. He's saying he wants to kureru is to receive, and then mite is to look. So he wants to receive looking, and in other words, asking her to go look if that question about that question he just asked before it. And you'll also see that this is also in the negative. It's kurenai instead of kureru. Shokutaku no ue ni aoi futo kanai ka mite kurenai kana. I'm kind of curious. He's talking to someone. Why is he using na there? Why is na used at the end of this sentence? The particle na in your sentence is part of the combination of kana, which expresses the speaker's uncertainty or gentle wish, often translated to I wonder, or if you wouldn't mind. It is specific to the phrase mite kurenai kana. The speaker is not given a direct command, but rather softening the request into a tentative question, effectively asking, I wonder if you could check. could you please check? Okay, this usage conveys a polite internal monologue or a hopeful expectation rather than a strict order. Here's the breakdown. Mite kurenai, won't you look, check? Na adds nuance of personal emotion, admiration, or softening. So kana, when combined at the end, is explicitly signals uncertainty or a wondering tone, making the sentence sound less demanding and more conversational. So shokutaku no e ni aoi, let's see, futo ga nai ka mite kurenai kana. So futo. I know this is a word I've studied before, but I've forgotten it. Let's see. And then it's just shokutaku, and fuko.
さくらさん。お父さん。食卓の上に青い封筒がないか見てくれないかな。あるよ。
Okay, there.
見てくれないかな。
Aruyo. In other words, that's the verb for to exist. Since they already know the topic, they don't have to say everything else. She just says it exists. In other words, it's there on the table.
あるよ。ごめん、それバス停まで持ってきてくれる？今日は。ごめん、それバス停まで持ってきてくれる
Fujitaka, that's right. Gomen or sorry. Let's see. Gomen sore basu te. That's bus station. Bus te. Let's see. Bus te. Oh, that's moto. That's right. Yeah. Moto kite kureru. Okay, so he's basically saying, sorry, but as for that thing they're talking about, sore, can until the bus station or bus te mare, then mote, which is like carry, or yeah, motsu, yeah, to hold, and kite is come from kuru. So when you come while holding something, you're bringing something, and that's how you say bring in Japanese. And then kureru, receive. It's talking about someone else is receiving because he wants to be given this by Sakura, which is why he is using kureru. Well, someone else is giving, I mean, not receiving, it's someone else is giving. So he's asking, sorry, can you bring this to the bus station? Gomen, sore bus te mare, moto kite kureru. I'm kind of curious why he didn't use ni there. Why did he use mare? Why was mare used instead of ni in The mare is used to emphasize the limit or endpoint of the action, the bus stop, implying the speaker wants the item carried up to that specific point rather than being taken in that direction. While ni marks the final destination or target, mare highlights the extent of the movement. In this context, the speaker is likely asking for the item to be brought all the way to the bus stop, perhaps implying a specific distance or boundary, rather than just being delivered at the stop as a general location. Let's see, ni indicates final destination. Mare indicates limit or extent of a route or time. I ran up to the station. Uses for motion verbs ni and e are used for the final destination, but mare is specifically suitable when emphasizing transit destinations or the point up to which the action occurs. Therefore, using mare suggests the speaker wants an action of carrying the item to continue until it reaches the bus stop, emphasizing the journey limit. So it's just an emphasis on the limit, essentially? He doesn't using ni mean the same. I see the same thing with different emphasis. Let's see. While both particles can mark a destination, mare adds the nuance that the action covers the distance leading up to that point, often implying the speaker is asking the person to carry the item all the way to the specific limit. He would simply point to the bus stop as the final goal, without emphasizing the journey or distance covered to get there. In this context, mare is often preferred when the speaker wants to highlight that the helper should take the item all the way to the stop rather than just dropping it off at the stop as a general destination. Okay, it doesn't feel like there's... I guess it's more of an emphasis thing, but it doesn't really feel that different. Yo, hapyo. What is hapyo? Announcement, publication, presenting statement. Let's see, it means departure, publish, and then surface table chart. So a chart that's being published would be a publication, I guess. So announcement, publication, okay, presenting. Hapyo suru. So yeah, So presenting or publication, it's in the noun sense, and when you add sudo, since it's a sudo verb, it becomes the action of doing it. So kyo, hapyo, sudo, and then naiyo, that's inside, I believe. Naiyo, contents, yeah. Substance, matter. Zenbu, that should be all. All the entire thing, yes, okay. So kyo, ya, yapyo, sudo, naiyo, zenbu, sono. Nakananda. So, I wonder if this was. I wonder if. Let me hear how he says it, actually.
今日発表する内容全部その中なんだ。
今すぐ行く。
この上に青い封筒がないか見てくれないかな。
あるよ。
ごめん、それバス停まで持ってきてくれる？今日発表する内容全部その中なんだ。
He says it so fast, I can't even hear if there's a pause in there.
封筒がないか見てくれないかな。
あるよ。
ごめん、それバス停まで持ってきてくれる？今日発表する内容全部その中なんだ。
I don't hear one. Okay, so. So this is basically a presentation contents. And then this is all. And then sono. So all the. So sono naka. So it's in the naka. So in other words, today's presentation contents are all inside. That's what I think it's trying to say. Everything I'm announcing today is part of that. Explain the grammar of this. Is the Zenbu part of the Sono Naka Nanda? So literally today's presentation contents all, that's what's inside. This literal translation lacks proper grammatical connection between the noun phrase and the explanatory ending. The word zenbu functions as a pronoun or adverb meaning everything. In this sentence, it modifies hapyo let's see, modifiers 発表する内容. Yeah, 発表する内容 implying all the contents. However, Zenbu is not grammatically attached to Sono Nakananda in a natural way. It is simply placed before it without a particle or conjunction. This makes the sentence feel disconnected. In natural Japanese, you would expect a structure like basically a comma in between it, okay? Or so Zenbu is intended to be part of the subject, but in the original sentence is not properly integrated. See, 今すぐ行く. Let's see, Sugi. This should be like Sugi as in like next, if I remember correctly. Okay, it's at once, immediately, right away. Ima sugu. Adverb immediately, at once. Okay, and this dictionary shows it as part of this word. Imasugu. Okay, so in other words, it's Iman is now and Sugu is like next. Immediately, at once, right away, soon, before long. In other words, she's doing it now and she's doing it right away. So to get more emphasis to that, she doesn't just say Ima, she says Ima Sugu. So and then Iku to go. So she's going right now. So Ima Sugu Iku. Kiro-chan, choto dete kure ne. So a little bit, then there's dete from deru to exit. And then kuru. I don't think that's from kureru. I think that's from something else. If it's from kudu, the verb, but that's to come. Let's see. Explain the grammar of this. Dete kure or dete kuru, a compound verb formed by the verb deru to exit, go out, and the auxiliary verb kuru to come. When combined, dete kure, it specifically means to come out or to emerge, movement away from the inside from the inside. Okay. Movement away from inside towards the speaker or current location. Let's see. Movement away from inside towards the speaker of the current location. So since she's exiting and moving away with the person. Right, movement away. Okay. This is distinct from dete iku, which means to go out, movement away from the speaker to a different location. See, movement away from the speaker to a different location. To come out, to emerge, movement away from inside. Moving away from inside towards the speaker or the current location. Wait, so is she using it because she's practically at the door, or? Let's see. Why would someone inside the house, but at the door and about to leave use this? Of leaving the current location inside the house and moving towards the listener, the door, or outside. Okay. In Japanese, direction of movement is relative to the speaker's perspective. Dete kuru, speaker, moves away from the inside home, but moves away from the inside home, but towards the listener's position or general direction of the speaker's. Let's see, or the general direction of the speaker's current action. Since the speaker is at the door and about to step out into the space where the listener, Kiro-chan is the frame. Okay, no, that's not what Kiro is. If you were to use, okay, dete iku, it would imply moving away from both the speaker and listener, often used when leaving the immediate vicinity entirely. So why did she not use it? See, Kiro-chan is inside the house. It's used by someone outside the house at the door to call Kiro-chan, who is inside the house, to come. No. Why would someone inside the house but at the door and about to leave use this? So why did you get confused? Maybe I should just look up these words directly. Let's see. Dete kuru versus dete iku. Grammar. Okay, lies in directionality and temporal perspective. Okay, 1. Dete kudu indicates the movement towards the speaker or the current point of reference. See, dete kudu indicates movement towards the speaker or the current point of reference. Why would someone in a house that is talking to someone else in a house say dete kuru when they are leaving? For example, I have to just move on, but and is often used when someone or something emerges from a place. However, it's used when a person is leaving a house, especially while speaking to someone else, and that house can seem counterintuitive at first. Why I say I am coming out when you're the one leaving. Confusion arises from perspective and directionality embedded in Japanese verbs of motion. Deru to exit, so tekuru to come. When combined, dete iku means to go out, away from the speaker, while dete kuru means to come out towards the speaker. So if you're inside the house and say dete iku, you emphasize movement away from the current location. But if you're still in the house and speaking to someone else who is also okay, so if you're inside the house and say that you're emphasizing movement away from the current location, but if you're still in the house and speaking to someone else who is also inside, saying dete kimasu, polite form can imply I'm stepping out, but still part of the shared space. Will return or be visible as I and will return will be visible as I exit. Does this imply leaving for a short period of time? Does using dete kuru when you say you're leaving the house to someone else, imply that you're only leaving for a short period of time? Anyway, let's just continue. She's using kudu, just remember that, I guess.
今日発表する内容全部その中なんだ。
今すぐ行く。ケロちゃん、ちょっと出てくるね。
Door no. Kai heion. In other words, the doors open and close sound. Kai heion. Door no kai heion.
なんや。
Nanya, what is that? Remember, he speaks Kansai Ben, so ya is replacing da. So this would normally be nanda. Nanya. Iterashai. Remember, Rashai is basically has a meaning of existing. So iterashai is in the continuous state of leaving. And that's just how you say, respond to someone that says they're leaving. Thank you.
さくらちゃん。
Let's see. Yukito Sakura-chan, okay.
ありがとう。
さくらちゃん。
ゆきとさん。
さっきのお父さんだよね。お使い？
ゆきとさん。
さっきの。
Saki no otosan da yone. Sh-
ゆきとさん。
さっきのお父さんだよね。
Saki. Does that have something to do with like necks or knee? Let's see. Saki, a short while ago. Okay, a moment ago, just now. So Saki no otosan da yone. Okay. Otsukai. Aaron. That's right. Otsukai, I believe, is to use. Yeah, sky was used. Transitive. Yeah, so sky is Aaron. Okay. Oh, is it? Wait, is it only Aaron with the O honorific? The without it. Yeah, no, it's still Aaron. Okay. So Saki no otos san yo ne. Oskai. So just now, was that an Aaron from your father? So would they translate that to? Right. That's the dad from earlier. Right. Okay, that was your dad earlier, right? Running an errand? I'm not sure if that's correctly translated. Translation of I think the correct translation is that was your dad earlier, right? Running an errand? I think that's probably the correct way of translating it. So, Saki no otosan yo ne. Otsukai?
ユキトさん。
さっきのお父さんだよね。お使い？
はい、忘れ物をしたんで。
さっきのお父さんだよね。お使い？
忘れ物をし
Let's see. Wasure mon shitande. So wasure do is, I believe, to forget. So wasure is noun form. So forgotten thing, because mono is a physical object. Wasure mono. So then shita. So turning it in. So yeah. Was sude mono a sudo verb? Anyway, I think it's trying to turn it into saying, yes, something was forgotten or some. Doesn't say it's a pseudo verb. Lost thing, left behind thing. Oh, that's right. Pseudo can be used as a shortcut for not having to actually spell out a sentence sometimes. So, instead of saying specifically what you're doing with the lost thing, you're just saying doing the lost thing. Essentially, saying you're doing the obvious task. I don't have to say because something was lost. Because yes, pseudo can be a shortcut for a much longer verb phrase. So what it literally translates to, like, I've done the lost thing. So, hai, wasumono shitanda de. Now, why is de at the end of this sentence? Why is de at the end of this sentence? The de at the end is a casual, feminine-leaning sentence-ending particle derived from the explanatory form of no des or ndes, where the final no is often dropped and replaced with de in casual speech, especially in Kansai dialect or when the speaker trails off. But what wasure mono shita is forgot something. Okay. Maybe it really is just making it saying more like forgot something. Is wasure mono. Is wasure mono a to-do verb? No, it's not a pseudo verb. However, wasure, well, pseudo is a common pseudo verb expression meaning to forget something or to leave something behind. Hmm.
Stand.
届けたんだ。
ゆきとさん。
さっきのお父さんだよね。お使い？
はい。忘れ物をしたんで。
届けたんだ。偉いね。
はい。忘れ物をしたんで。
届けたんだ。
Right, so this might actually explain why I see her using de excessively sometimes, if it's a feminine replacement to the explanatory no. Toroketa. Let's see. Torokeru, to deliver. So Toroketan, being there for explanatory reasons. Toroketan. Da. Erai ne. Erai, great, excellent, admirable, commendable. Transitive. Torokeru. So, Toroketanda. Erai ne. Toroketanda. Erai ne.
お父さんだよね。お使い？
はい。忘れ物をしたんで。
届けたんだ。偉いね。
あれ？制服？あれ？
あれ。制服。Uniform. System law rule clothing. Okay. 制服。
忘れ物をしたんで。
届けたんだ。偉いね。
あれ？制服？
ああ、今日バスケ部の試合だったんだ。ああ、今
日バス
ケ部の試合だったんだ。
本当はゆきとさん、どこ？
お使い？
はい。忘れ物をしたんで。
届けたんだ。偉いね。
あれ？制服？
ああ、今日バスケ部の試合だったんだ。ああ、
制服？
ああ、今日バスケ部の試合だったんだ。ちょっと。ああ。
Bus careful. Oh, not. Oh, yeah. Bus. Yeah, bus. Yeah. Bus careful. Basketball club. So, wait. Careful is how you say basket. I guess this. Oh, boo. Basket. Basket boo. Is how you say basketball club? Basket boo? What if I get rid of this symbol and just have this part? Basketball. So when I add that other kanji back in, it becomes basketball club. Basket. Basketball. So, yo, basketball no shiai, that's game. Yeah. Datan. Let's see. Why is there a second da in there? Data is the final da, or datanda. Why is there a second da at the end for this? Which is part of the sentence ending structure, and it adds nuance of explanation. It was that, okay. Since past form was a match, explanation da copula. Isn't data the copula? Yes, data is the past tense form of the copula. Da is the plain casual. Okay, in your original sentence, the data functions as a past copula stating today was the basketball club's game. The final nda or separate explanatory. So, when using past tense copulas, in an explanatory way, then do you need a second da? Yes, when using the past tense copula in an explanatory construction like nda, you do not need to add a second plain form da at the end. Instead, the da is absorbed into the a contraction. The structure nda and ndes implies contraction of no da. That's what. Does he actually say that?
偉いね。
制服？
ああ、今日バスケ部の試合だったんだ。ちょっとお手伝い。
Yes, he did say it. Okay.
制服？
あ
You always have to put the after that ton. No, you never put da after that ton. The combination of that ton da is grammatically incorrect. Let's see, the particle is added directly to the plain form dot dot to create a to create an explanatory. Okay, this form is used to explain a reason, provide emphasis, or seek confirmation. Let's see. Kino wa ame datan, meaning it was raining yesterday, right? Grammar rule, data is already in past tense plain form of the copula da. Adding another da after it creates redundancy that violates Japanese grammar rules. As data itself serves as a complete predicate or modifier. Why would a speaker use that tanda? See, kyo boske bu no shiai datanda. Why would a speaker use it? Sequence datan is grammatically and typically requires a da or its polite counterpart des to form a valid sentence ending like datan dash or datanda. The form datan is simply a contraction of no. Past tense of explanatory form and functions as a stem that must be followed by a sentence final copula to be grammatically complete. See, isn't that on the final sentence ending copula? You do not always have to put da after data. In fact, data functions as a the form datan, often a contraction of datanda, is a final copula, but a contracted explanatory form of nda. or noda, which adds nuance and is typically omitted in casual speech unless specific emphasis or a dialectal form is intended. Datan is a colloquial contraction of datanda, where nda from oda provides explanatory or emphatic nuance, often translating to the reason is, or it's the case that. You. What does this mean in complete sentences? That you always need an extra dot after dot if you're using the explanatory no. No, you do not always put the dot after dot when using explanatory no, which contracts to nda. In fact, da is typically omitted in specific constructions because the explanatory no da or nda already functions as the sentence ending. Isn't the no da at the end of an explanatory sentence just. Oh, konnichiwa, Rooster 111. Genki desu ka? Let's see. Thank you for the raid the other day, brother. Is your model able to activate Bankai? Never heard anyone ask anything like that before. Isn't the node at the end of an explanatory sentence just the explanatory no plus the copula? Ends with a noun or not adjective, which functions as nouns. The plain form dot must change to the abnominal form na before attaching the no. So nano da. The specific not acts as a grammatical bridge because the explanatory no requires the phrase immediately preceding it to be the nominal form used to modify nouns. Okay. Anyway, continuing. There's probably a lot of nuance into that ending right there.
ああ、今日バスケ部の試合だったんだ。ちょっとお手伝いでね。
ちょっとお手伝い、お手伝いでね。I think he's asking for a little help. Helper made. Help assistance. Okay. お手伝いでね。Why is de in this sentence? See, the particle de functions as a case particle. Specifically, the te form of the copula, the or a marker of condition, scope, or situation, while net is a sentence final ending particle seeking agreement or drawing attention, meaning that phrase a little help, you know. Well, I was just there as a bit of help, okay? As a bit of help. Functions of de. Here, de marks the role, capacity. Let's see, marks the role, capacity, or condition under which the speaker was present. Let's see, ni is used for purpose. So you're saying de is used for role. So de can not only reference tools, but I guess that makes sense. Like when we're referring to a tool, you use de to say what tools you use, but when you're referring it to people, it's like what capacity they're being used. Shoto otetsudai dene. Okay, so he wasn't saying that he's not asking for help. He was just saying why he was there at the basketball game.
ああ、今日バスケ部の試合だったんだ。ちょっとお手伝いでね。
本当はユキトさん、どこのクラブにも入っていないの。
本当はゆきさん、どこのクラブ、どのクラブにも入っていないの？本当 isn't 本当 supposed to be spelled with a U? 本当はゆきとさん so I think that's supposed to be truly and then Yukito-san and then which club, let's see, which club he's entering to doesn't exist. Okay, so why is Honto spelled without the U in this? In spoken Japanese, the U sound following the O as an OU is frequently devoiced or deleted because it's pronounced so quickly that it becomes almost silent. While the standard spelling Honto, the spelling Honta and Honto is common in informal context, manga, dialogue to reflect natural speech patterns where the final U is dropped or heavily reduced. Let's see. Yahaite inai. Yahairu to enter. Let's see. Which see doko, so where club's going doesn't exist. What? So what that translates to. Okay, actually Yukito isn't in any club. So she's saying that he's not in any club. So Honto wa uh, Yukito-san uh do, so what club? Let's see. Truly then Yukito-san's location. Okay, Yukito-san and then wait. Okay. Explain how that sentence is. Let's see. Explain the grammar of that. Actually, Yukito-san isn't in any club, is he? Let's see. This is an informal spoken sentence that omits certain particles and uses colloquial forms. Let's analyze it. Okay. Honto wa actually in reality. Okay. Yukito-san person. Okay. Doko no kurabu ni mo haite inai. Doko, where or which? Plus possessive. A connecting particle of which club? Okay, Nemo. Indicating location in Mo includes. Is the first no the same type of no used in Shikon no Tama? No, the first no in the sentence, blah, is not the same type of no as the one used in Shikon no Tama, which appears to be a Shigoto no Tama or similar, but assuming the user means the possessive no used between nouns. This in the sentence provided the no functions as a normalizer, turning the clause Yukito-san Dokuna. I'm not talking about that, no. Is this the what type of no is the Doko no? In the Doku no construction functions as a question word modifying. Okay. Modifying a noun specifically means which or any when used. Particle Nemo. Particle no here is attributive particle that connects the interrogative pronoun doko where to the noun kurebu, effectively turning the phrase into which club or any club. This is distinct from a possessive noun like watashi no hon or normalizing no. See, attributive no versus possessive no. What lies in whether the noun indicates actual ownership or simply functions as a modifier. Possessive nouns use apostrophe dog's bowl to show that the noun owns, whereas attributive nouns act like adjectives without an apostrophe. Dog bowl. Okay, so it's just that kind of difference, okay? See, どのクラブにも入っていないの。So, 本当はゆきとさん、どのクラブにも入っていないの。
忘れ物をしたんで。
届けたんだ。偉いね。
あれ、制服？
ああ、今日バスケ部の試合だったんだ。ちょっとお手伝いでね。
本当はゆきとさん、どこのクラブにも入っていないの。でも頼まれて試合の時とかに助っ人さんで出場したりするんでも頼まれて本当はゆきとさん、どこのクラブにも入っていないの。でも頼まれて試合の時とかに助っ人さんで
でも、頼まれて、頼む to request, to beg, to ask. 頼まれ. Okay, so this is in the receptive form, receptive connective form. So 頼まれる would be receptive form, and then 頼まれて would be the receptive connective. So received asking, 試合 match game, okay. の時とかにの時 so that's time. Received asking time. Occasion case. Oh, that's probably what it's being used for. Case. So he had a case of being received asking for a game. And then it's Tolka. I can understand. With if he receives I guess with if he receives asking for a game, and then let's see. Sketo-san. Oh, that's probably from Skeru. No, no, shouldn't this be Taskete? let's see. Taskeru. Okay, yes, it is taskeru. Oh, that's probably just the word when you're combining those two kanjis. Geto-san, basically a person that asks for help is what I think that's probably going to mean. Helper, supporter, second backer, foreign player hired to strengthen a team. Okay, so it's not the person asking for help, it's the person that gives the help. Sketo-san. Sketo-san de. Shujoshi. Shujo. Participation. Is Shujo Shitada. Let's see. Is Shitari? Is this supposed to be part of Shitari, I wonder? Hmm. Explain the grammar of this. Geto-san, substitute player, okay. It's implying there's a pseudo in there. Let's see. Pseudo Shitada. Shujo. Shujo. And then. Why is there Shitari Furunda at the end? Combines three distinct grammatical structures to explain a situation. Tari is suited for listing examples. The phrase Shuju Shitari Sudu uses the Tari Sudu or simply Tari, okay, with one verb pattern because he lists actions as things like A rather than a strict sequence. Here Shujo Shitara doing things like appearing as a substitute followed by sudo indicates that the speaker performs this action occasionally or among other things rather than it being a continuous or ordered event. Tardy form attaches to the ta stem of the verb. Oh, it considers she part of the verb? Where is the she from? The she is not a standalone particle, but part of the Tadi construction, which lists actions in a casual, non-exhaustive manner. The phrase Shujo, okay, Shitada is derived from Shujo Sudu, to participate, to play. Okay. She stem plus Tari conjunctive particle. Tari combines from the classical Tari, a variant of. Okay. Tari implies and so on, and among other things makes the sentence mean even if asked, I participate as a substitute player during the match, or things like that. The Tamo at the beginning is a double particle. A demo, okay. Demo, okay. So the she is not a separate element, but part of the Tari construction. Article. Doing such things expresses. Oh, I think I remember something about she being used as an in-between particle when listing several things. Let's see. Does show an example of listing several things with she used to separate them. Kono restaurant wa kono restaurant wa yasui shi aji shi, so cheap, delicious. Oishi shi. Okay, so it's sort of just used for listing several things. Okay. And then they said this is just used for listing between things, and the taris just say these and so on after that. Okay, and doing such things. Indicates the completion or continuation of an action. Used adverbally. Okay, doing such things used adverbally. Okay, so So going back to this original statement. Demo tonomarete shiai no toki. Explain how toki is used here. That's right. If I remember, let's see. When I was okay, so that is okay, so that kanji is Photo. No, that's not the word I was looking for. Let's see. Stay and let's see. Example of when I was a. Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to see if Toki's being used the way I think it's being used. Kodomo no toki wa. Okay, yes, that's right. I thought I remembered that about Toki. It's a way of saying when something occurs, blah 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 happens. That's how it's being used. Kodomo no toki wa mainichi sakka o shimashita. Okay, so demo. Demo. Let's see, from Tanomu. So Tanomarete shiai no toki toka. See, toka ni. Wow, I've never seen three particles being used. Toka ni. Suketo-san de shujo shitari surunda. Tokani. I've never seen three particles used together. At least that's what I think they are. Explain why Tokani is used in this. The phrase toka and sometimes tokana is used and so on, or things like indicating that the examples given being a substitute player during matches, or just a few of the many similar activities the speaker does. It functions similarly to demo in this context, which also serves to list examples loosely during matches or something similar, rather than specifically an exact exclusive set. In the specific construction, tokani, the particle toka attaches to the noun phrase shoujo no toki, time of match, to soften the statement suggesting the speaker participates in such events occasionally, or among other similar occasions, without implying these are the only times. This usage aligns with broader function of demo and toka to express, or something like nando. Okay, but you didn't mention the ni. The ni after toka is a standard case particle that marks time. Time or occasion. Oh, okay, so it's tonomu. So tonomarete shiai no toki toka. So when he does things like is asked for help in a game, and then needs there for the specific time. Okay, so when he does things, okay, then Sketo-san de shujoshi tari surunda. So he does things like that. So in other words, whenever he's was asked to help out in a game, he does it. Among other things.
今日バスケ部の試合だったんだ。ちょっとお手伝いでね。
本当はユキトさんどこのクラブにも入っていないの。でも頼まれて試合の時とかに助っ人さんで出場したりするんだ。頭も良くて何でもできてカニャーン。頭も良くて まれて試合の時とかに助っ人さんで出場したりするんだ。頭も良くて。何でもできて。はにゃーん。
あ、let's see. Atama, Atamamo Yoi Yokute. So Otamamo Yokute, in other words, good head, and aka is probably trying to say he's a nice guy. Let's see. Nandemo. Things like things, and then Dekite. Dekiru's, let's see, to do, so Dekite. So he does things. So he's a nice guy that does things for people, I guess. Something like that. Yeah, the reason it's Yokute here is because uh uh they wanted to essentially say Yoi here or E, but then continue the sentence and to essentially say Yoi, and then in a connective way you have to conjugate it to its adverbial form first, Yoku, and then add te on it to be the connective form, which essentially is the saying Yoi like an adjective, not as an adverb, but then connecting it to another sentence. And this is done in Japanese as a replacement to using things like and that you would hear in English. Smart and good at everything. Oh, that's right. She, she's saying he's smart because when you say good head, that means smart. That's right. Because when you say, well, like weak head, you're saying someone's stupid. So good head would be like smart. That's right. Right. It's Yoi, if I remember the verb, the adjective correctly. Yeah, weak for L. So yeah, Atamaga Yowai is like saying weak head, or in other words, stupid. Why? In this case, we have a Atamo Yokute, or in other words, Atamo Yoi, which is good head, which means smart. So let's see, non demo. See, non demo dekiru to be able to. Oh, let's see. Non-mo. See, not anything, nothing at all. Non-demo. Anything. Explain the grammar difference of nanimo First non-demo. The primary difference is that non-demo means anything or everything and is used with affirmative verbs or adjectives, while nanimo means nothing and is strictly used with negative verbs or adjectives. Okay, non-demo indicates no limitations and anything is fine. Nanimo indicates total negation and or not anything. Okay, so why was that used for the one that means anything? The primary grammatical difference lies in polarity. Nanimo is almost exclusively used with negative verbs. Okay. Well, non-demo is used with positive verbs to mean okay. The particle de in non-demo originates from the te form of the copular da, or des, effectively meaning even if it is, regardless of what it is. Okay, so even if it is a thing, he can do it all, because mo has that all kind of meaning to it. So it creates a sense of no matter what, which aligns with the open-ended meaning of anything. So atama Okay, so let's see. So atama mo yokute nandemo dekite hanyan. So as I said, atama mo yokute is good head, or in other words, smart, and then non-demo, so anything, and dekiru is the connective form of dekite is the connective form of dekiru to be able to do. So that means he can do anything, and then hanyan is generally used as like a feminine admiration sound. Let's see. It's a gobi used to express surprise, attraction, or cuteness, often association with anime characters. Okay. Okay. Okay, Hanyan specifically functions as an exclamatory interjection rather than grammatical particle. Okay. Hmm.
どこのクラブにも入っていないの。でも頼まれて試合の時とかに助っ人さんで出場したりするんだ。頭も良くて何でもできて、頭も良くて何でもできて、はに
さくらちゃん、お昼は？
ゃーん。いえ、まだ試合の時とかに助っ人さんで出場したりするんだ。頭も良くて何でもできて、はにゃーん。
質問がありますか? Are there any questions? Okay, if there's no questions, then we're gonna find someone to raid, so please stick around for that. Okay, let's see. I think I may have found someone on YouTube. Let's try Rumble now. Okay, one moment, I'm looking for a setting for a raid. Hold on. Someone's wondering how to receive a raid in YouTube. YouTube really needs to clean up their raid settings. Most people don't even know that it's off by default. Okay, we're going to raid to Bobby Puff Gaming on Rumble. And we're going to be raiding to Let's see, while I'm working on this person on YouTube, let's see about Twitch, what they have going for them. There was anyone studying Japanese on Twitch. Though I do see Stoic studying another language, so we'll read to him. So 皆さんお気をつけて、また明日。Goodbye everyone, see you tomorrow.